I'm a super visual person, and after teaching Pilates for about 20 years and teaching exercise in general for about 30 years, I realized that it's sometimes hard for people to really understand the words that I'm instructing, and until they can kind of make that picture in their mind of what we're actually activating, what those patterns are, that they're just a little bit lost. And so I came up with a way to visualize through diagram the intrinsic core muscles, or specifically our 4 sets of abdominal muscles in our Happy Hips program, and it seemed to be really effective and really help people understand how to engage their abdominals. And so I wanted to bring this to everyone. So in Pilates, one of the most basic principles and underlying factors is that we're trying to get the muscles that are closest to the joints, whether it be your spine, whether it be the hip, the shoulders, any of the muscles that are closest to the joints that are called stabilizers, to turn on first. Okay, so that's how our body is actually designed, is that we have muscles that are stabilizers that hug the joint, keep the joint safe, and then we have muscles that are mobilizers, like your biceps and triceps, your quads and your hamstrings, that actually move your appendages, your arms and your legs. And so they each have their role. But if we allow those larger muscles or those mover muscles to activate before the stabilizer muscles are turned on, that's sometimes where we run into injuries. So when it comes to the core, it's extremely important. So the most deep muscle that runs next to your spine is a muscle that's called your transverse abdominus. And so transverse meaning back and forth, right? Laying sideways. Now, as I go through this, I want you to really understand that this is a very simplified description. The abdominals are not tied up with a nice little bow, and they're of course not this narrow. But if we imagine that this is your abdominal area here, we have this muscle that runs horizontally called your TA. And again, its job is to hug and protect the spine. And so when we turn this one on, along with our diaphragm and pelvic floor, and one of our obliques, our internal obliques, those are the most basic core muscles that help really protect your back, okay? So think TA runs horizontally. We pull our belly button to our backbone, just gently hug that spine in, and it really supports that structure, giving the spine support. In addition to that, we have muscles called the obliques, and I think most people have heard of the obliques. Not everybody's heard of the TA. There's another blog post that I have that the TA is the sexiest abdominal muscle, not that six-pack. Read that one. But anyway, the obliques run in a diagonal fashion. So if I kind of took this as like a package, and I'm wrapping my package, the internal obliques come upwards, the external obliques come downwards. Nonetheless, the obliques diagonally run across your body. So I'll put my other diagonal package wrap on here. It's like if you're sending something in the mail, right? You make sure it was nice and secure in all directions. That's how we're designed. Make sure all of our internal organs are protected in all directions. Okay, so we got the TA, and then we have our 2 obliques making this crisscross. And don't worry about the external or internal, I just want you to get that visual. Okay, and then the muscle that most of us are familiar with runs from the top of the rib cage down to your pubic bone, and it is the most superficial or on the top, so it's the one that you can see. So we often call this your six-pack abs, or your rectus, okay? So the obliques will join in, helping kind of bring the body crisscross. Or if I was standing up and I had a heavy weight and I was side bending, my left obliques would stabilize me as I'm going over to the right. And if they weren't stabilizing, I would keep going all the way over. So their job is to hold me up. And then the rectus will help you fold this way. Fold in half, bringing the rib cage and the pubic bone closer to each other. Okay, so all this to understand, especially if you're one of my Pilates students, that we want to get that TA engagement first if we're doing some core exercises. So as we're laying down, we're drawing that in, and then these other ones follow. So we think closest to the spine and then outward. Okay, I hope this visual helps you understand, and then if you do some of the exercise videos, you'll hear me repeat all of that, activating the TA first, and then we'll be working in the different planes to activate your obliques and your rectus.